Frankie Nicole here. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I sure did. Bruised myself up a bit, getting out in the wilderness and kicking some rocks and whatnot. Just got my sage here and lost all my lighters, so we got Mr. Big Guy here. Nice and cleansed. Yay, sage. Alright, so my topic today is about cooperation and how it can fuel things forward much better. And, it's not like this out of the blue crazy topic that, but it's important to remember when you're working with a group of people, there has to be a certain amount of order that happens, or then instead of trying to start floating the river at 3 like you thought that you were going to, this is from yesterday that I've observed. This is interesting to see the flow of how everything was going at the birthday party I went to, and just trying to get all the ducks in a row, and people weren't really cooperating or coordinating properly, so the time that it took to get to the end result was so much longer. And it's funny because there was just this silly lack or warped of communication. And I mean, right now we're still dealing with Mr. Mercury retrograde, but I mean, besides it messing with people's communication, it also gives us a time to reflect, and that's the beauty of Mercury retrograde. So my reflection on yesterday was, if we could have coordinated the dropping off of the floaties and the people and getting the right things all set up, and everybody having a particular job that was and everybody did it, all of it would have gotten done probably way before the time that it actually did. But then when we got into the water and we were all lined up in this big, mass of floaties to go together, things coordinated really well, and we just moved as a direct unit, and it was really smooth in the transition, except for the one time when we hit the rocks and had to disentangle ourselves from each other. But it's funny because with a slight tweak of how the situation happened, things could have run much more smoothly. But the fact is, there's so many different energies all at play that have to be dealt with, that to coordinate that type of effort, you'd have to get everybody working together so smoothly. So having everybody know each other helps, because when you know somebody's energy, you can better react or bounce off your own energy to somebody. Alright, so with other cards, do not fear the current changes. All is happening in accordance with your divine plan. To the current events are paving a way to a brighter future. Love illuminates all darkness. Remain positive and light. And I think that connecting that back to what I was talking about is people are usually set in a certain way of how they go about things. It's always how they've done it, and it works for them. But I think it's important for working together as humanity in a general sense. If we're going to take it macro, we need to start understanding each other better, talking, communicating, being able to bounce energies better, and then we can actually start a positive progression towards the future which we need to for all these problems that we've been avoiding, basically. But then also, I think there's something to be said of not labeling or not putting people or groups into a box with each other, acknowledging that there's differences of every person in the whole world, and we're not all just this or that or that or that, and everyone has to fit into a category. It's learning the energies in a general sense, but learning individual energies so that you're able to work with somebody better. You may not get along with them, but you can at least treat them civilly. And then the second card, which I thought was just really nice. You are loved more than you consciously know. Share the insecurities with people that you love. You'll be surprised and reassured by their reaction. Love is all around you. And I think it's interesting because I was, sometimes avoid groups of people because I never know how they feel about me or think about me. It is intimidating to be confronted with that much energy of people, and to remember that nobody really comes at other people with immediate disdain unless they have something already disdained towards themselves. If they feel that, then that's already going to be projected. But taking time to feel out a situation and feel out the energy of people, and then you can start to get to know and feel more comfortable, and trust that people look kindly and not negatively on you or of another person. That was kind of a bit of a mishmash of stuff. It's just a little bit of reflection of what I saw yesterday, and I can't I enjoy situations when I'm out of my gourd, but it's hard for me not to watch and observe when I'm around a bunch of people. People are fascinating. Alright, get to the cards. I think I've been creepy enough. Also, don't let people put you in a box. Don't let people put you in a category that you don't want to be put into. You say, you know what, that's not who I am. Maybe you should get to know who I am better. Alright, punctuation next. Interesting. The star in reverse, punctuation. All is well, all is bright, all is hopeful. I love this card. The beautiful little mermaid with the star, and she's pouring the water. And when it's in reverse, it's just talking about not recognizing the hope and the beautiful, happening, what's happening around you. The energy is bright and hopeful, and there's something to be aspired to around you always. And you just have to look up. Don't look down. Look up at all of the wonderment around you. Enjoy. Take in everything that you see and treat it with wonderment. Because even though you see the world every day, in a sense, it's, there's always something amazing to be seen, and acknowledging it to be that is what helps make it completely just new and special again, instead of ho-hum, it's, just another whatever, being like, oh my gosh, I have never seen this before, just noticing something different. And Oliver, meow, come here. So then we have the Queen of Cups in reverse, and the Chariot in reverse, Six of Swords upright, and the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So it seems like there may be a little bit of emotional stalemate going on in a sense. Female energies turned a bit on its head of emotional or over emotional. Somebody who's just can't seem to put into words, or a situation where emotions can't be really transferred into words very well. And next to the Chariot in reverse, I think it's talking about how it's important to harness those energies, that unsteady emotional waves, and not charge forward with them, because you could make a mistake because if you're not, paying attention to the surroundings, because you're distracted by the emotional, emotionality of the situation. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a woman. It can be a man with the feminine energies, because we carry all different types of energies within us. I carry some masculine and I carry some feminine energies within me, and it's just important to realize there is multiple parts to us. So with the Queen of Cups, it's just a very feminine emotional energy that is, overturned. The water is kind of spilling around everywhere if you look at it that way, and it's hard to control. So trying to move it in a certain direction is not advantageous at the moment, because it's better to get a hold of it in cup again and keep the cup upright so that you're able to move it better. And so maybe there's some of that going on. But then the Six of Swords upright means that there's a movement or travel of a situation. So, and it's in the upright, so there's no difficulty. So I think you're able to control the energies, the emotional energies, well, as long as you're looking positively on the bright side, like with the star. It may disrupt part of your practical life. You may feel like it's more difficult to work or balance in practical matters. You might not get your laundry done, or you might feel like leaving work a little bit early instead of finishing that last project because you just are not feeling it anymore. I think it's a positive thing, even though we've got reverse cards, and it's really important to take your time and go slow, especially when it comes to your emotions, because when you're just, I remember having the emotional outburst and like, and it would just never really pan out well, because it's like kind of an uncontrolled force, and you're just throwing it out there without any plan. And that's what the Chariot talks about, is having a controlled force of energy working together, both sides. And so I think with the Two of Pentacles in reverse, things being a little bit out of balance, the light and the dark being a little bit of out of balance. We've got the light and the dark ball there. That maybe moving ahead with a certain thought emotionally should be tempered, and cooperation of the two sides needs to happen before anything else can happen. Balance is always important. Communication is always important. Having a thought process that is flowing forward is important, and not just ruminating on the past events. All right, well, we're at 14 minutes now, so I'm gonna cut this off. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. I hope the weekend was satisfactory enough to help balance out this day that might be a little bit off kilter. And I will see you tomorrow.